I'm Jim Ferris. I'm the director of the USC Center on Philanthropy and Public Policy and a professor in the Price School of Public Policy. So nice to see you all for this special gathering on sports, community, and philanthropy. I moved to Los Angeles in 1980 from North Carolina, somewhat reluctantly letting everyone know that I would stay until the Olympics and then leave. That was the 1984 Olympics, for those of you keeping track. This is a true story. Or did I really envision the 2028 Olympics and Paralympic Games here in LA? Seriously, we could not be gathering today in a more appropriate place to discuss and celebrate the role of philanthropy, community, and philanthropy here in LA as LA writes the latest chapter in its story legacy. This gleaming high-tech sports palace is a beacon, not just for fans and athletes alike, but for our whole community. It's a shining symbol of what's possible and of the impact that sports itself can and does have on all of us. Los Angeles dazzles as the stage for All-Star games, Super Bowls, college playoffs, golf championships, and we will welcome the world for the FIFA World Cup in 2026 and the 2028 Summer Olympics and Paralympic Games. It shines a light on Los Angeles and brings the world here. From the Clippers and the Lakers to the Chargers and Rams and Dodgers and the Angel City Football Club and more, our teams, and oh yes, USC and UCLA, are marquee events that lead the way, inspire us, and help to drive the economy. At the same time, LA community sports are thriving and expanding with the help of philanthropy so that everyone can benefit from deeper human development, greater opportunities, and important life lessons that come from sports participation. As Tim Shriver, the chairman of the Special Olympics, put it, sports is virtuous. Sport is quite a simple thing. It is play, and in play, people of all ages find the chance to engage their most profound emotions: love, fear, excitement, disappointment, anger, and joy. That's why we like to say, as we develop this program, sports for good, sports for all. You have seen an outstanding agenda and a number of distinguished speakers. It is sure to be informative, insightful, illuminating, and inspirational. You are in for a real treat, and I hope you can all find opportunities to engage at the intersection of sports, community, and philanthropy. Before we get started, I want to give a special thanks and credit to Wendy Wachtel, one of our founding board members, and Bob Graziano, a longtime center supporter. Their vision and support brought us together today. And I also want to thank Cindy Kennard, whose handiwork has been instrumental in shaping today's program and so much more of what we do at the Center on Philanthropy and Public Policy. As our board chair, she's simply the best. Please join me in welcoming my dear friend and colleague, the chair of the Center's board, Cindy Kennard.
Thanks so much, Jim. Hi, everybody. It's just such a joy to be here for me today. It brings together so many things that I really love. This rich, diverse community of Los Angeles that we just all love. Our LA region's sports fanaticism, of which I am one. With the NFL, I see Susie here. Susie Spanos from the Chargers is here. Good game the other day. The basketball, Gillian somewhere with her team, the Clippers. And then, of course, I love baseball and tennis and golf and all those things. So this is really kind of a passion project. And I love this city's deep and wide philanthropy. as one of our dear colleagues said recently, in philanthropy, we are in the business of hope, to foster a belief in a better future by empowering individuals and communities to achieve their fullest potential, and most of all, to overcome challenges, of which we all know there are so many. Finally, I love our shared concern for economic prosperity and the well-being of everybody. It is an honor to help you, Jim, as you lead the Center on Philanthropy and Public Policy at USC, now celebrating its 25th anniversary, strengthening the nonprofit sector, and years of promoting philanthropy. We also do research, deepening the understanding of the sector and its changing landscape. We also bring together key decision makers from philanthropy to business, nonprofits, governments, and the academic community to explore strategies to drive impact and help improve our community. Some of our recent speakers that I quoted a little earlier, Darren Walker from the Ford Foundation, Dr. Maria Rosario Jackson, a Los Angeles native who led the National Endowment for the Arts. And the center is a research partner for something I deeply care about, called Women Leaders in Philanthropy, which brings together women leaders from all over the country with the most prominent foundations in our nation. And there's no better illustration of the center than today's event, bringing together all of you here in this room. So to kick things off, it gives me such great pleasure to welcome someone who has had so many well-deserved awards and recognitions for her hard work in sports and business. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Halo Sports and Entertainment, the umbrella brand encompassing the LA Clippers, the Ontario Clippers, the Intuit Dome, and the Kia Forum. She is very well known for her role in launching this incredible facility, which was named the 2025 Sports Facility of the Year by the Sports Business Journal. Please join me in welcoming my colleague and my friend, Gillian Zucker. Here she comes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're so glad to have you here. And it's great to see so many of you. I know you have important work to do today, so I will keep this brief, but I just wanted to make sure to welcome you to Intuit Dome and just to share with you a little bit about the vision that Steve Ballmer had when we first set out to build this place. He keeps things simple, and he likes to speak in math. So he wanted three things. He wanted this to be a basketball palazzo. Those are the words he used. I still am not quite sure exactly what that means, but it looks something like this, because he seems quite pleased with it. But 5 basketball courts and lots of places for people who care about basketball. If you do get a chance, right outside these doors is a wall that's filled with the jerseys of every high school basketball team, girls and boys, from everywhere in the state of California, with the idea that if you are part of basketball in this state, that you can find yourself here at Intuit Dome. He also wanted people to see this place as a music mecca, a place where bands could come, where you could rock out to absolutely your favorite types of performances. And we have seen them all over the past year, and we'll see many more to come. But we hope that we'll get you back here to enjoy a basketball game or music. And the third thing he wanted, and these things were all his #1 priority, was he wanted this to be a community gathering place. It was very important to him. He wanted people who couldn't name a single one of our players, who didn't know the name of our head coach. He wanted those people to still be glad that we were their neighbor. And to do that, we set about on some pretty ambitious goals. The first one was we set a local hiring priority while we were building this place, and we set a very ambitious goal, which we exceeded. More than 30% of our construction hires came from Inglewood and the surrounding communities. Thank you. And we built spaces like this one. When we originally launched this space, we had names for all of them. It's now called Court B. But when we were looking at it on the plans, it was called the Indoor Community Court. And that's exactly what it was. It was supposed to be a space where people could have all types of events. You can see the acoustical tiling, a 4K video board. We wanted to make this special so that you could use it for many, many things. We've seen everything from youth sports championships in here. We have volleyball inserts. You can play pickleball in here. And of course, basketball. But we've also hosted weddings and bar mitzvahs and many, many community events like this one. So we're so glad to see you using it for the way that it was intended. We also have an outdoor space that similarly is a community gathering space. And as many know, we committed $100 million in a community benefits package that's funded everything from senior and youth programs to affordable housing. So to all of you, to all of our friends from USC, I just wanted to thank you for bringing our vision to life, for using these spaces as they were intended for the important dialogue that you're about to embark on today. Have a great day here at Intuit Dome.
Thank you, Gillian, for the warm welcome, and thank you and the Balmers for your work in the community. It means a lot. We are deeply honored today to welcome our keynote speakers this morning, Clayton and Ezra Freck. Father and son, they co-founded Angel City Sports along with Ezra's mother, Bihar, who joins us today, a nonprofit organization that is dedicated to creating sports opportunities for athletes with disabilities. And they host, I learned this summer, the annual Angel City Games. Ezra is a celebrated Paralympic athlete. He won 2 gold medals at the 2024 Paris Paralympics. And I believe he's also a USC student, coincidentally. Clayton is an entrepreneur, is Ezra's manager and fellow traveler for international competitions. They join us today and will be on their way to New Delhi for the 2025 Para Athletics Championships tomorrow. So we're delighted that y'all are here. Why don't y'all come on up?
Thanks so much, Jim. So those of you that have heard Ezra speak know that it's smart to go before him, and it's really smart to not characterize yourself as a fellow keynote speaker. So I'm going to do a deeper introduction of Ezra versus claim that I'm actually a keynote today. But thank you, Jim and Cindy and Bob and Wendy for hosting us, all of us, today. I'm really just excited to talk about sports, philanthropy, and impact. Our family, as Jim mentioned, has dedicated essentially the last 2 decades to changing society and changing lives through the power of adaptive and Paralympic sport. Why? So 20 years ago, when Ezra was born, what we would call in our community a congenital amputee, so essentially an amputee from birth, I didn't know sport was possible for him. And that summer, a few of you have heard this story, I would go surf and just cry and not even really catch waves. And in the water, I would be processing my loss, that I didn't think I'd be able to surf with my son, didn't think I'd be able to play sports with him, didn't think that I'd be able to be the dad that I wanted to be. And in a minute, you'll hear from Ezra, and you'll realize how wrong I was, very wrong. And I feel really blessed because about 5 months into Ezra's life, he's this little baby amputee, we found the world of adaptive and Paralympic sports. And I made this sort of weird commitment to myself to just become an expert in this space, initially for Ezra. And now he's 20 years old, has a mustache, and he's grown into a really beautiful human who is purpose-driven, he's an athlete, and he's really single-handedly changing essentially global perceptions around disability. Off the track, he's an influencer. Hopefully you all follow him on social media. He's a public speaker. He's been speaking since he was 4, so you'll see why I am not the keynote today. Fashion model. He's sort of hanging on to sophomore status at USC. He coaches track and field and mentors our athletes at Angel City. He's got a passion for teaching amputees to run for the first time. Magic when you put a blade on someone and watch them run. This year, he joined our board of directors. On the track, Jim mentioned a few of his accolades, but two-time Paralympian, double gold medalist from Paris. I brought the medals, so at lunch, come put them on. Take pictures. They're really, really cool. He's a world record holder in the T63 high jump. He ran track at USC last year as the first above-knee amputee to be recruited to a D1 track program. So really proud of that. He's attended 3 world championships. This summer, we had a big summer. He turned pro, signed with Adidas, and did leave the USC track team. So I'm sorry to all the Trojans out there. And tomorrow we leave for India for his 4th World Championships. So before he comes up to deliver the true keynote, let's watch a little clip from our documentary on Peacock called Adaptive.
The Paris 2024 Paralympic Games out upon us. A 19-year-old from Los Angeles.
New kid on the block, I would say, Steve.
Does he have the composure to beat these more experienced sprinters?
I was really relaxed. I'm just gonna go out there, have fun.
And they all got away pretty well. Parton is absolutely flying. They'll start to haul him in though. Catch him. It looks like Wagner on the inside in lane 4's got there. It looks like it's Wagner's race.
Waiting for the confirmation.
And Frex has got it. We can't believe it.
Ezra Freck.
I will be marching into a stadium of 80,000 people, but I will rise to the occasion.
And it is Ezra Freck who is realizing the dream that he has been manifesting for years, winning this gold medal in this event. So well deserved.
Describe what's happened here over the last 48 hours.
I can't even put it into words, I swear. I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. I can't even believe this is real. I can't even believe it.
We've received a message from the White House that the president would like to reach out to Ezra.
What?
I'm going to watch you break the record in Los Angeles for you.
Well, thanks for the round of applause, everybody. It's always fun to watch that back. Bearing witness to greatness in sport brings about this collective joy, a sense of camaraderie and exhilaration that words, in my opinion, sometimes can't even describe. Yet there are times where sport transcends our paradigm and serves as a catalyst to change history, our perceptions, and in turn, our world. And history has many examples of this. I mean, from Jesse Owens winning 4 golds at the 1936 Olympics, directly challenging Hitler's claims of Aryan racial superiority, to Jackie Robinson breaking racial barriers in Major League Baseball, to Billie Jean King sparking conversations about gender equality by beating Bobby Riggs, a former #1 male player, Mia Hamm, and the women's national team triggering attention about equal pay in women's soccer, and then as well, Nelson Mandela, using rugby to unify a racially divided country. And now I believe we are at the precipice of another transformational moment inspired by sport that will ignite social change and create a powerful rippling effect around the world. But let me start at the beginning. When a surfer from Santa Barbara and a Persian deadhead actress got married and had their first child, they had no idea how their lives would change. My parents really came together with this passion for environmental advocacy and this deep-rooted desire to live a life of purpose. When I was born, then with one finger on my left hand, I have this lower left leg that's curved up towards my waist. My disability was a surprise at birth, like you heard my dad say. And the ultrasound doctor completely missed my limb differences. And rightfully so, my parents, they questioned, what would life be like for their firstborn? Would I grow up to have a normal life? Would I get married, get a job? How would society perceive me? How would other kids treat me? My dad wondered if he'd be ever able to play sports with me. My parents knew nothing. They knew nothing about disability. They named me Ezra, which means the helper, the teacher. My mom would tell me, she would tell me to live up to my name, and she would often whisper in my ear, "You, child, will teach the world how rich and beautiful it is with all its diversity and differences." One morning, a few months after I was born, my mom receives this call from a friend who had just heard about my birth. And the friend says to my mom, he couldn't have been born to a more amazing family. And my mom appreciates the compliment, but also knows at the time people are saying anything they can to make her feel better. So my mom says, "Thank you for the compliment, but any mother would do anything for her child." And she hangs up the phone and she looks down, and on the front cover of the LA Times, there's this article, and it's titled, "Loving Others' Rejects." The story was about a Chinese trash scavenger that found dozens of newborn babies left in the trash, left on train tracks to die, all because they had a physical disability. Children that were missing a leg, missing fingers, just like the baby that my mother had birthed. Only minutes after this conversation with her friend, she calls my father over, and they realize that the environmental movement has many voices representing it, but that these children do not. It was in this moment where they decided to commit their lives and that of our family to serving the disabled community. And so my parents raised me with no limitations. At the age of 11 months old, I got my first walking prosthetic. I learned how to walk. I grew up obsessed with sports. My dad always says that babies sort of come pre-programmed a little bit. I was pre-programmed for sport. My first word, surprise, surprise, was not mom or dad. My first word was ball. We talk about this being a basketball place. I loved basketball so much as a young kid. I learned to count by twos instead of ones because I was watching so many, sorry to say it, Laker games. I feel weird saying that here, but Laker games. I used to get my mom's eyeliner before school and draw a goatee on myself because I loved Pau Gasol so much I wanted to dress up as Pau. Now I can actually grow it a little bit more full. My dad was making fun of the mustache earlier. And so at the age of 3, I have this really transformational operation where they amputate my left leg right at the knee. And then what they did was they took the big toe that was formerly on my left foot and they put that onto my left hand. So I went from having one finger, everything was held against my chest, but then I got a second finger. I could pick things up. I could hold things. Completely transformed my hand functionality as a young kid. And then I got a stump that could fit into a prosthetic so much easier than before. So soon after this surgery, I got my first running blade. I learned to run, and from that point forward, my world completely opened up. However, the world also gave me many challenges. The reality is living with a disability is far from easy. Body pain from hips being off due to growing skin irritations, infections on my stump. I was breaking prosthetic legs all the time. My parents were always getting the call from school, "Your son has broke his leg again." I was getting overuse injuries on my one and only sound side, but by far the biggest challenge that I faced was never feeling like I belonged. Everywhere I went in public, there's people staring, there's people pointing fingers, there's people whispering about me. I felt like an outsider. I felt like a zoo animal everywhere I went. And looking back on my childhood, it was difficult. I have these full feelings of isolation. I don't feel like I belong, but I firmly believe that two major things gave me self-confidence: my family and sports. So I had amazing support from my parents, brothers, extended family. My mom, who's sitting right over there, she would always tell me, you walk into every room with your chin up, your chest out, and you walk in like you own the place. My dad supported my sports journey with everything he had. My family, my big Persian family, was literally the loudest cheering squad at every single game or competition. And growing up, I played every sport possible: basketball, soccer, football, track and field, all against able-bodied kids. But every gym, every field, every track that I walked onto, I was doubted. I was underestimated, and this fueled me to prove them wrong. Not only just to keep up with them, but to beat them. And I mean, we're all sitting in this room today because we know the power of sport. We know what it can do for someone physically, psychologically, what it can do for the soul. Well, that impact is tenfold for a kid without a leg. Because for me, at least, playing sports was the one place where I really felt like I belonged. And I could escape this darkness of living with a physical disability. So where does this crazy sports obsession take me? I was 11 years old, and I'm watching the Rio 2016 Paralympics, and I'm sitting on my living room couch, and I have this basically an out-of-body epiphany, universe telling me this is your calling type moment, where I decide right there and then, I'm gonna be a Paralympian. I told all my family, I told all my friends, I'm gonna make the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic team. And the reality is, we all have childhood dreams. Kids want to go to the NBA, they want to be an astronaut, they want to do this, they want to do that. This was my version of that. Few people in my life, excluding my parents, genuinely believed that at 15 years old, so it'd be 4 years later, I was going to all of a sudden just make the most elite competition in the world. But from that day forward, I began to train unbelievably hard. I mean, I was up at 6 a.m. training hours and hours before school. After school, I'm on the track, I'm coming home, I'm doing these jumping drills in the backyard. This was all literally based off of stuff I saw on YouTube. I didn't even have a coach at the time. I'm just doing what I think is beneficial. I was literally so obsessed and committed and focused. Eventually, we built a great team around myself. And at 2019, at 14 years old, I made Team USA for the first time. And then just 2 years after that point, because we got another year, obviously, because of the pandemic, I did qualify and make the Tokyo 2020 Paralympic team at 16. And I remember being in Tokyo, August 30th, 2021. It was pouring rain at the Paralympics in Tokyo, Japan. I'm an LA boy. I haven't really high jumped in the rain before, and I was drenched. Completely drenched, puddles on the track as to how much it was raining. After clearing a few attempts, my back was sort of up against the wall. I had missed 2 attempts at 1.83 meters, which is about 6 feet. And I had to clear this 3rd attempt if I wanted to have a chance at the podium, which had been my dream all along. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I had spent years and years preparing for this one moment. And so, I run the approach perfectly. Hard to do in the rain, but I run the approach perfectly. I plant well. I leap into the air with literally every ounce of energy I had left. I'm soaring over the bar. I arch perfectly. I clear it by a mile. I land on the mat, and I'm jumping up to go celebrate this clearance. 3rd attempt clearance at the Paralympic Games, and I jump up, and the bar's down. And the official is holding the red flag. I was in complete and utter shock. And we realized the blade had hit the bar. And I didn't even feel it. I did not feel the prosthetic leg skim the bar, and I'm out of the competition. I spent 5 years of my life preparing for one moment, and I had come so unbelievably close to making history. I was an inch away from a Paralympic medal at 16 years old, and I swear to God, I was devastated. I was devastated to fail in front of my family, in front of my friends, in front of all of the fans that were watching around the world. It physically pained me to think that I had let down the people who believed in me. At about 3 a.m., after a really long and dark evening, I found a photo of the medalists online. I looked it up, a scene that I had literally watched unfold when they all celebrate with the flags. And I took a screenshot of that, and I set it as the lock screen on my phone. And I wrote on the screen, "Never again." And so every time I check my phone, I'm reminded of that day. It's still the lock screen on my phone. And my vow to never walk away from a major championships without a medal until the day I retire. It was that moment right there that a new level of hunger, a new level of obsession was unlocked, because that loss turned me into a monster in preparation for Paris. I was completely locked in, literally the most locked in any human has maybe ever been. I was training, recovery, hours of lifting every day, deep visualizations, daily meditations, journaling, no sugar diet, 10 to 12 hours of sleep. I literally created a manifestation routine where I would write down every morning, declare it to myself, I am the Paralympic champion. Everything that I would do throughout the day, I would tell myself, this is what the Paralympic champion does. During my meditation, I would visualize every detail about the Paris Stadium. So where my parents would be, the color of the track, where we would likely be seated, what heights the bar would go up at, the color of the mat, even what type of facial hair or jerseys that my competitors would be wearing. I programmed the sensation of winning gold into every cell of my body over and over. In every interview, for 3 years before the Paris Paralympic Games, I promised that I was going to win the gold. I even, on social media, I started a 100-day countdown where I made a video every single day for 100 days saying today is day X out of 100 until I win Paralympic gold. Now, at the Paris Paralympic Games, I had a pretty brutal schedule. 4 days of back-to-back competition. First night, long jump. Then the next day, 100-meter prelims. Next day, 100-meter final. And then the next day, the high jump final. So first night, I do the long jump. I place 5th. I had an off day. I was really disappointed. But once again, I'm in the midst of the competition. As angry as I was, I had to let it go. I let it go. I can't let the noise get to my head. I have to stay focused. The next day, the 100-meter prelims, I qualify for the final in that race, and my prosthetic leg actually almost comes off at the end of the race, which is super crazy. And then the third night is the 100-meter final. So coming into this 100-meter final, let me just set the scene a little bit. I'm ranked 7th, okay? The 100-meter, not my best event. Not even an event that I thought I had the best chance to medal in outside of the high jump. And I remember going into the call room, which is this room where they keep you before you walk out into the stadium. You're with all of your competitors. And I remember we're sitting there, and I can literally feel the ground shaking from how loud the stadium is outside. And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm looking at all of my competitors, I'm thinking, I can literally smell and taste the fear that is in this room. My competitors were so nervous. So I knew if I stay relaxed, I think I could do something really special. And so then as the ultimate underdog, as you saw right there, I won gold on day 99 out of 100, according to the countdown. And it was the most insane moment of my entire life to win a surprise gold medal like that. I mean, guys, my phone was blowing up unlike anything I'd ever experienced. The press and media are all over me, and so badly. This is my first time winning Paralympic gold. This is a childhood dream. So badly do I want to just sit there and bask in the moment, but I couldn't. I couldn't get complacent. I couldn't get distracted because the very next day, I have the high jump. I had to put my phone on Do Not Disturb, lay in my bed, and try to remember the hunger of that kid who was crying outside the Tokyo Stadium. And so the next evening, when high jump rolls around, I was so locked in, I was so ready to go. I had visualized that moment in that morning meditation, just like I said, and I went out there and I won the second gold medal in the high jump on day 100 of the countdown. So I completed the countdown, thankfully. And then as a newly minted 19-year-old double gold medalist, everything in my life changed. I could breathe and celebrate for the first time in what felt like years. I had the deep, deep privilege of being the reason that a stadium filled with 70,000 people stood to honor our flag. I had the most endearing and beautiful phone call, which you guys saw a little bit of, from President Biden, and this outpouring of love from all over the country. But what was it all for? Why do I care? For me, it has always been about impact over medals. My life, my purpose, my reason and drive to win on the track is to normalize disability on a global scale. Because growing up, I didn't have someone that was in the mainstream media that I could look up to and be inspired by. I want to be that for the next generation. You see, 15% of our world has a physical disability. In contrast, only 2% has a cognitive one. That means there's 50 million people in the US, over 1 billion people globally with the physical disability. And most acquire it from traumatic events like car or boating accidents, diseases like cancer, diabetes, stroke. Disability doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you are young, old, brown, black, or white. It doesn't care what your religion is. It doesn't care whether you're rich, whether you're poor. Disability could be a reality for any one of us. And it's not only in China, but there are children around the world that are being discarded simply because they were born different, born like me. There are countries in Africa and Central America where disabled people are considered cursed, are prohibited from going to school, working traditional jobs. We had soldiers that served in the Middle East and reported seeing babies killed because they were born with the physical disability. And even in the US, we have higher rates of poverty, obesity, unemployment, mental distress. I talk to kids with disabilities all the time, and they all have been bullied in school. No one should be made to feel like a zoo animal, and no child should be discarded simply because they were born different. These kids are my motivation. And so then we ask, why sport? As Nelson Mandela so beautifully articulated, sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to the youth in a language they understand. Sport can create hope where there was once only despair. That's why 12 years ago, my family and I created Angel City Sports, a nonprofit that provides free access to adaptive sports, training, equipment, and competitive opportunities for kids, adults, and veterans with physical disabilities. What we're doing is important work for the individuals in the community, but we need your help. We need partners. We need donors. We need sponsors. We have a clear vision for the future. Our plan between now and 2028 is to ensure that everyone in Southern California is aware of the organization and that sports are possible, and that everyone is close to quality programming that we offer, because there's 3.5 million people in Southern California alone with physical disabilities. So how can we spark a revolution in perceptions? How can we create a rippling effect that will change the way the world views disability? Well, in 2028, the Paralympics are coming to LA. And the Games are the most elite sporting competition in the world for people with physical disabilities. It is critical that we grow awareness about the Paralympics. We get more coverage of the games. Journalists share and promote these athletes' stories. Companies celebrate and promote Paralympians like they do Olympians, and we fill the stands. It is critical that the general public knows about the Paralympics and knows that Angel City Sports is there for them if they live with a physical disability. And as more and more people around the world bear witness to the extraordinary athleticism that's displayed, we harness this powerful opportunity and ignite a change in perceptions. Now, standing on the shoulders of Jackie Robinson, Billie Jean King, Mia Hamm, I am deeply, deeply grateful to be on the forefront of this movement, this societal change, helping us see disability from a completely different lens, one that celebrates what is possible and the upper limits of human potential. And hopefully, through the process, the LA 2028 Paralympics will be known as another golden moment in history where sport changed our world forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Ezra, Clayton, and Bahar. What a way to start, right? Sports can be inspirational, and I think you'll hear it over and over today, but nothing like that. We wish you well in New Delhi, and we look forward to seeing you in your hometown for the 2028 Paralympics, Ezra.